Hello and welcome to another episode of Connecting Live with me, your host Lydia Daydal. I'm about to be joined by one heavyweight professional, Solomon Dacres. So let's see where he is and we can get him connected. Don't forget at the end of the interview, as always, if you've got any questions for Solomon, make sure to send them into the question box and I will ask them once they're good. If they're not good, I can't promise you that I will ask them. But I hope everyone is well and you're having a good day. A little bit later than usual today, but let's get Solomon in. He just messaged me, so he's probably just connecting right now. But yeah, a little bit later than usual. At least we're here. So I hope everyone is well. You should have the request, Solomon. I hope. Should work. There we go.
Hello,
Hi.
You okay?
How are you? Yes,
I'm all
good,
good.
thank you.
I'm all good. Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you
So,
so much for your time. I know it's like busy or it's hard to get you in between training sessions and stuff, so I
yeah,
really appreciate it.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's all good. It's all good. Just finished eating.
Oh, you
Ready to
did?
go again. Ready to go again in a couple hours, but we're all right now.
What are you eating? What have you ate?
Just had like rice noodles, beef mince, onions, salad. Keeping it basic.
Very good. Are you cooking this yourself or are you doing meal
Yeah, yeah.
preps?
Nah, I cook for myself. I do a
All
lot of
right,
cooking myself,
okay.
so
That's good.
no one
That's
knows
good.
my own taste better than myself. So
Yeah, this is it. This is it, right?
yeah,
I can get behind that. But anyway, I'm
yeah,
delighted to have you on because we haven't done anything before. So they got
yeah,
loads of messages. I always say to people, who do you want to see? Who do you want to get on? And around the time of your professional debut, everyone was like, oh, get Solomon on, like we're really excited to see what he's going to do. So I'm delighted that we're finally getting around to speak to each other now. So let's talk about, your career. And basically, I think the most important thing that we need to cover is the decision to turn professional now. I know that obviously you've had your background in rugby and obviously there was talk of you going to the Olympics. So why was it for you? Why did you want to turn professional at this time?
Yeah, so I took the decision to turn pro last year. It was before the Olympic qualifier taken place, and it had been postponed. Everything had been postponed Olympic-wise, and I knew Fraser Clark, who's there at the Olympics now, he had the first qualifying opportunity. So I knew if he qualified, I wouldn't have a chance to qualify then. So it was out of my hands. So I thought there's no point waiting to see if he qualifies, which he did anyway, and then I got no chance to anyway. So because there can only be one from each weight class, so I just thought I might as well turn pro now instead of waiting around any longer and get cracking anyway, where we're all going to end up anyway.
Absolutely. Like, what is it like for you as the athlete that's in that situation of you're training as hard as each other person that's in your weight division or your category, and you may not have the opportunity to go? Like, how does that mentally weigh on you?
You just gotta really focus on your own improvements. You just gotta focus on your own performance. You can't get too caught up in what might happen elsewhere that you can't control. Just gotta make sure I keep training hard, and whatever opportunities I get, I take control of them. And so, yeah, it can be a bit, disappointing, but you just gotta go with what's in front of you, and you've got to just put the hard work in and trust in the process as well.
Absolutely. When you do eventually make a decision like that, to turn professional and to step away from the amateur side of the
Yeah.
sport, who are the people that you confide in, or who are the people that you go to for that advice? Because I imagine it's not that much of an easy, I imagine you want to talk to people and get their advice and what they think about the situation.
Yeah, but you talk to the other boxers at GB is good, because obviously Rob McCracken,
Yeah.
he's the head of GB. I spoke to him, said I want to turn pro, and I turned pro with his brother Max, who's training me now full time. So it was good that I was turning pro with Rob's brother. So when I was still on the GB squad, I had the communication between Rob and Max. So I was transitioning, and they were speaking between themselves as well. So it made it easy for me to go from the GB setup to coming back to Birmingham and then getting my training set up there, knowing that Max had the gym set up there ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, I mean, when a lot of boxing fans look at the turnover between amateur and professional, they think it's as easy as I'm going to turn professional.
Yeah.
Matchroom are going to be at the door. Sjam
Yeah.
are going to be at the door behind Matchroom, and it's all going to be like totally fine. But obviously, you know, when you work in the sport, you know that that's not the case. So for you, you've had this like incredible opportunity, not only being signed by Sjam as a management label, but also signing with Matchroom, which is ultimately the dream, right? That's where all boxers want to be.
Yeah. Suppose so. Yeah, like you say, coming off the GB squad, it gave me a bit more of a leverage to sign with Matchroom and also with SJam. Sam John spoke to me. He was speaking to me for a good while, about a year before I actually signed with him. And being on the GB squad is what really put my face there to even be recognised in the first place. So I got to thank my, put the hard work in the amateurs, and it gave me that little bit of a stepping stone. But even though I signed in Matchroom, I'm still at the bottom of the ladder as far as I'm concerned. I'm signed to them promotionally, but at the end, it's all about who comes good at the end. So just got to keep grafting and work my way to the top the same way.
Obviously, like pressure is something that you're more than I assume used to. Obviously, with the amateur background that you have, obviously coming from rugby as well as a professional athlete there. So the talk of pressure, you know, is there pressure when you have your first fight under the professional banner with Matchroom?
I think the pressure is more on myself to perform. Excuse me. I wanted to like put my own performance, make a good statement, and yeah, like I said, I put the most pressure on myself really, because I've got the highest expectations and standards for myself, and if I'm not performing, it's all down to myself. This is an individual sport, so I put the pressure on myself to perform. But externally, I didn't really feel much pressure. I just felt it more put it on myself in terms of just me being a fighter.
Mm-hmm. Have you always been like that? Have you always had very high standards for yourself?
Yeah, anything I do, I always want to be the number one, be the best of it. Like you said, I used to play rugby at a decent level. I always wanted to be the best in my team, but you can be the best in the team and a rugby team, and you can still lose, which is one of the reasons why I put the rugby to the side, because there's so much out of your own control. Boxing, it's all on me. You've got your coaches and obviously your team, but if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to get the results. But if you are, more likely than not, you're going to come good.
Absolutely. And it's a very unusual sport in that you need your team in the preparation for it, in the lead up for it. But then ultimately, you know, once you step inside there, it's all on you. So there is a different type of pressure in that I imagine you're going into every fight and you're not only thinking about yourself and the win that you want to have, but you're thinking about all these people that are a part of your team that are helping you to get to this point. And I imagine not wanting to disappoint them is a factor in it.
Yeah, of course, you know that your coach puts all this time into you the same way you're putting that time in the gym. Your coaches are putting that time into you. So you don't want to be, a burden to them, wasting their time, and you want to, put the success that of the hard work that you've been putting in. And like I say, I'm still at the bottom of the ladder, so we've got a lot of work to do, but hopefully become good through it.
So here's a question for you. Is it important that at this stage you remember that you are at the bottom of the ladder? And I mean that in that we see sometimes when people sign a professional contract and they've done stuff at amateur or they've done stuff at other sports, they're sort of like, it's that kind of, I've arrived and, the work is done.
Nah, not at all. Like you say, as far as I'm concerned, I'm starting off fresh. I'm at the bottom of the ladder and I've got to earn my way to the top. That's the only way you get to the top and stay there. People that have put the hard work in and, like I say, earn it the hard way, which is more often than not the right way. If you get ahead of yourself when you start off, you're gonna just come short anyway. You can't be thinking you're some big timer, like going on like a world champion and you've only had a couple of pro fights. You gotta obviously have the confidence that you're gonna get to that level, and whoever you're fighting, you gotta be confident you're gonna beat them. You gotta also understand that my time will come, but I'm still working my way up. You gotta work your way up there.
How do you navigate that balance between the two?
You just put the hard work in, and you just gotta have that mindset of, like I say, that humble mindset, but you gotta stay confident as well that I'll get there, but you understand what it takes to get there. And it's good that I've seen people that have got there, like for instance, like your Joshua's that have been on the GB squad that I've seen train and I've sparred with him, and I can see that he's not there because he's just missing sessions and not training hard. He's there because he's dedicated and training hard. So that's what it takes to get there, and you've got to just keep that in your mind.
Absolutely. Well, you touched on Joshua. Obviously, when we look at sparring partners, you've been there with arguably the best in Anthony Joshua, also Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. So you've had this experience sparring all these guys who are, you know, we look at AJ, I mean, the top of the game, not only the top of the game in the sport, but commercially, as a brand, as an athlete, as a, you know, as a figure in entertainment, you know, he's up there. So do you feel that, you know, what do you take from opportunities like that, getting to spar with Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I just see it like competitive sparring that you can learn from. Just an opportunity to learn and opportunity to work and improve. The same as any sparring, but knowing that it gives you a bit more confidence, knowing, okay, he's top of the game. Let's see how I do here. And you can gauge yourself and say, okay, you know, I can reach those levels if I put the same hard work in as well.
Do you take a confidence from being asked to come spar Anthony Joshua? Because they're not going to just put anyone in there. They're not going to put someone in there that's going to waste his time. So something has obviously been seen in you and you've been selected to do that. So do you get a confidence from that?
A little bit, not. I wouldn't say I get too gassed about that, because I've seen people in their sparring Joshua that have wasted his time, and and they're thinking like, where have they brought this guy from? And I've been watching, thinking, this guy is shocking. So I have
Don't
seen
mention
time
any names. Don't mention names.
You know, I don't even know what the guy's name was, but I remember the spar, and they weren't happy about it. He was no good, but so I don't get too gassed with just, you know, getting invited to spars on the GB squad. He's training right there anyway, so it's natural that he's in spars super heavyweights. But I could take more confidence in terms of how you perform. You know, not just taking part. Anyone can get in there and just get in there, but you gotta do the business and put some work in as well.
Absolutely. Did you have any reservations or doubts in your mind that you would be able to do this as a career, coming from rugby and it not being your original sport? Like a lot of the guys that obviously have followed the amateur path to Team GB and then turn pro, they've been, you know, boxing is all they've done all their life. So for you, coming from rugby, was there any apprehension there?
Yeah, I always enjoyed boxing. I always wanted to do boxing. When I was about 15, I went to the boxing gym first, but I only trained there for about just under a year. I didn't have any competitive bouts, so when I started off, I didn't really know the pathway. I didn't know I got to box the amateurs, box the ABAs, Team GB, Olympics. I was thinking, right, I'm going to win a few club shows and I might go to the Olympics or something. I didn't have a clue what was going on. But I just still set myself the goal. I want to be the best. That was the main thing. I want to be the best. And it's just something that just drives you all the way, and then see how it goes from there. And then I've learned the progression and learned certain levels, and you learn your lessons. You know, you got your national championships, novice championships I started off at, and then you just progress slowly and you sort of learn as you go along. But in my head, it was just a case of I want to be the best, you know, that I can be in terms of that. I didn't really know career path wise or anything like that. It was laid out. It's a gamble. It's a risk, but I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew I wanted to be the best at it.
I want to be the best. I find that so interesting because of the background to it. Like, what I find it so fascinating about what makes a professional athlete the professional or the elite athlete. Like, what is it inside them that they have that I need and I want to be the best? Like, what exactly is it? Where does it come from? Where does it stem from? Is it something that's part of their environment, that from when they were growing up? Or is it something within them, something bigger, you know, that's they're meant to be doing this, it's part of their life purpose? There's all these different facets, you know. So for you, can you determine, can you understand why you have that?
I suppose it's a bit of a mixture. The big thing is, like you say, life experiences. You know, what you go through in life that makes your mind program a certain way. And I've always been competitive, and also it's within you. I've always been competitive anyway. What's within me? Anything I've wanted to do, I've always wanted to win, and I've been a sore loser. You know, especially as a kid, I was always a sore loser, playing computer games with my brother, and I'd turn the console off and stuff like that. You know, if I was losing. But yeah, also like you say, then you have certain experiences in life, and you realise that, you know, you need to succeed, and you need to really put the work in, and you need to come good, really, because if you face it and be honest with it, if I don't succeed, then in boxing and stuff like that, you're not got much to fall back on. If I don't succeed, then I can't set up a future for my family. I can't secure my family's now my financially and everything like that. If I don't get to where I want to be, I got fucking not much really. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm
Well,
flat on my
they do say the best plan A is to not have a plan B.
Yeah, there's no plan B.
Yeah.
So,
Right, okay. I'm going to just, while we were talking, people were sending in questions. So I'm just going to pop into the
yeah.
question box and just have a look and see what they're saying. Okay, so let me see. This is from JDogs94, and he said, Solomon has just said about coming good. What does good look like for him in his professional career?
Sitting as a world champion with a few million in the bank, that would be pretty good to me.
That'll be
Sounds
all
good,
right.
man. That'll be all right, yeah.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
This is from C Black 001, and they've asked, can you ask Solomon what is his opinion on Wilder versus Fury?
Good fight. I think him taking the trilogy out. I think Fury could have moved on after the second one. And Wilder, he's gonna be, I don't know what. It's gonna be strange, hasn't he? Like some of the stuff he's been doing in the build up to this, mentally and that. But we see how the fight turns out. I think Fury's got his number, though. To be fair.
Absolutely. It's the heavyweight division is. I think that's why everyone is so excited with people like you. And, Johnny Fisher and all these new heavyweights that are coming into the division, because it's sort of bringing a new exciting element. Whereas up until this point, there's so much that's gone into the heavyweight with fights being made, fights falling out, taking too long to be put together. Boxing fans are like, okay, this is arguably it's the most exciting division in terms of, your knockout, the power that the fighters brings. It's where the money is. So it's good to see this new kind of emergence of young talent that's coming through.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's have a look. This is from Tracy Mahoney, and she's asked, can you please ask Solomon what kind of music does he listen to and train to?
Yeah.
You'll be judged on this. You'll be judged on this answer, so choose wisely.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I listen to a lot of old school hip hop, R&B, Tupac. I got a Tupac playlist I'm playing in the gym most of the time. Or some old school like 90s, 2000s hip hop. That's what I usually train to. Nothing too mad because the sessions are long, so you don't want to be like getting a bit too buzzing. Then 10 minutes in, you burn yourself out. So yeah, nice and smooth, but still got nice few tunes.
Favorite Tupac song?
Favorite Tupac song?
Yeah.
The classic one, Changes. That's a classic one.
Yeah. We'll have that.
We'll just say that. I got a few.
Mine is
though,
California Love. We can't go past that. That's my favorite.
That one.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, the banger.
There's a question here from Charlene O'Reenan, I think it is, and she's asked, if Solomon had to choose 5 people, dead or alive, to have a dinner party with, who would he choose?
Have a dinner party with.
Yes, 5 people, dead or alive.
Gordon Ramsay first to sort the food out.
Yes.
then probably like Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones Jr., Jonah Lomu, the old rugby player, used to play for the All Blacks, New Zealand All Blacks. He was
good.
one of he was one of my inspirations, man. He was an absolute beast.
There's a couple of questions in there where people have asked about rugby, saying who's your favourite player?
Yeah, so Jonah Lomu, someone like Sugar Ray Robinson.
Very good.
And is that 4? I don't know who else.
That's
and then
you can have one more because Gordon Ramsay is going to cook, so we won't put him at the table.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep Gordon in the kitchen then. Someone like Genghis Khan, from back in the day that conquered the whole world. See what he's about. That'll be mad.
Yeah, that'll be a good chat.
yeah, exactly.
I'm actually surprised you didn't say Brian O'Driscoll for your favourite rugby player, but I'll let you away with it.
Yeah, okay. He's a good player.
He is. Shabal is actually my favourite rugby player. Not Brian O'Driscoll, but there you go.
Sebastian Shabal.
Oh, I love Shabal.
Yeah.
I love him. If you ever go to France, he's in loads of, he does loads of modeling now, so he's just on loads of like billboards and stuff for like
Oh,
Fred
yeah,
Perry. Yeah, it's really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Um, right, let me take one more, and then I can let you get off. Let me see. Okay, here's a good one, and it's from Sam Smith. And she's asked, Solomon, who was your biggest inspiration growing up, or an inspiration that inspired you to be the best in boxing?
Yeah. One of my inspirations, like I said, Jonah Lomu, the rugby player. He was a beast. And in boxing wise, it was Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Actually watching Mike Tyson, like videos and TV programs of him, documentaries when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I just watch Mike Tyson and think, flipping out, man, I wish I was like that. You know, it's just absolutely brutal, exciting to watch it. I used to love watching him.
And you know what? He still has that, even though he's like totally like done a 360 in terms of his personality, and like he's, you know, you can just tell that he has all this life experience, but you can still see it if you watch his podcast, Hot Boxing, you can still see that sort of Mike Tyson in him that is like still there.
Yeah. He's still a bad man to this day, and
he's still a bad man. The baddest.
Yeah.
Okay, Simon, I will let you go. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Nice one. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Definitely. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later.
See you later. Bye.